are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of In Touch Radio or its staff.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Straight Up the Middle with yours truly, Pete Edwards, and my man, the main attraction on this thing, Attorney Clint Parrish. And don't forget, I just got it right in my hand, a new edition of the In Touch News magazine, paper, and everything. And I want to remind everybody that the NAAC Freedom Fund dinner has a change of venue. It's now at the Tampa Marriott Water Street. I want to say hello to everybody. Wearing my Blake, we're on Facebook, so I'm wearing my Blake Yellow Jacket band shirt. And you know what? It's kind of like a wet dry, whatever.
Dry fit?
Dry fit. Why did I say wet dry? You know what I'm thinking about? This immigration business. If you put one foot on one place, you're all right. But In Touch Radio News, we're reality news where everybody's a star.
Everybody's a star.
Yeah, I'm telling you, but I never get autographs, so you know what I'm saying? I can't even get I go out Friday night before we come on for happy hour, and nobody never sends a complimentary drink over to me, so I got to step up my star business, you think? The number here to call in is 813-444-9588. That's 813-444.
9588. It's also on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, listen, folks, this has been a busy week. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff going on. I have no clue what you've been paying attention to, but we better tell our kids about paying attention to modern stuff instead of playing this new crazy game. And I don't think any kids should play it because it teaches violence and all, but this Grand Theft Auto, they got a new part, and I think it knocks down an old lady or whatever the case may be. But some of our topics today is what's on people's mind nationally, and we do have national coverage, international coverage on Facebook. Good morning to you all out there. I trimmed my beard. I didn't shave it off, but I trimmed it, and it looked better on Facebook. Somebody sent a picture of me on Facebook, Clint and I, and it scared me. I liked the children's boy shirt, but bro, when I looked at my Medicare glasses, and then I didn't shave my beard, and plus there was a little gray in there, I said, no wonder it was that. Now I figured out what the heck's wrong with me. So I'm glad a listener that was looking in. And so today we're going to talk about several issues. One, the Haitian refugee treatment disparity and its impact on 2022 election, if any. The white missing girl coverage, an update on COVID, and Kamala Harris, and we're talking about this. And I told Clint that the criminal justice reform bill wasn't gonna make it. You heard me say that, John, right?
I heard you say it.
Okay, and I'm a conservative Republican, but not a empathizer or sympathizer, Uncle Tom to the extreme right. Extremists that are in our party. And look, folks, whether you're independent, Democratic, Libertarian, Republican parties, all those political affiliations and all, even in Black Lives Matters political parties, you got some good people, you got some bad people, you got some fake people, you got some people that go along and get along. Even in the gay movements, you have extremist right gays, believe it or not, you do have them, because they want to exclude black gays. I don't know. I never understood that, but that's where it happened. And then you got some of them that are extremely left, where they want to just take over everything like it's a revolutionary thing and all. But I told Clint, I mean, we got a lot of subjects, but I told him, I said the criminal justice reform bill was fake. I tried to tell everybody that Tim Scott, when you see a black man, and I'm going to say it nationally this morning, when you see a black man who claims now that he's been stopped by police a lot of times because of the color of his skin and all, he recognized it and all, but has never been at the forefront of trying to push for reform. And then all of a sudden, Mitch McConnell gives him the role of trying to get a criminal justice reform bill through Congress. It was fake, Clint. I told you it was fake. Brothers who, see, to me, if you're a black man that's been harassed by the police, and let me tell the young brothers and the parents who are listening today also, tell you buy these new cars for your sons and daughters and all. You know what has increased now in a lot of states, in particular southern states? Here we go with the old tinted windows too dark.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that coming back. But I told you that this whole criminal justice bill was fake. When you have a brother that says, hey, well, we couldn't get past qualified immunity, let's not get it twisted, folks. Whether you have a white son, black daughter, or whatever, and they qualified immunity protects bad police officers. Now, what you sue them and all, and they'll give you a little pocket change and all, and the lawyers and get 50%. And some people call, some people call Ben Crump, those type of lawyers are poverty pimps because they sign on to these big cases. And then let's say I get $4 million, but I don't get the $4 million. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, qualified immunity protects bad police officers. And I said that Tim Scott was not serious. Here's why. Why I'm in Tim Scott's position.
Okay.
What the hell am I be serious about this for? When I'm a senator from South Carolina, I was set up and got the job by the previous senator that was there. I'm running for re-election in 2022. My senior senator is Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, which is still a kind of racist state. Okay? What benefit for me to jeopardize my standing in a Republican primary by fighting for black civil rights and all? It don't make sense.
Well, the qualified immunity.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's part of it. But I told you,
right.
bro.
You did say
Okay.
that. Okay. So can we
coming.
mark the tape and say there was once upon a time on
Well, I
September
got two
24th,
things.
Pete was right, but I don't know if this bill is dead.
It's dead. It was dead from the beginning. See, what we have to understand when we look at these so-called Democrats like Cory Booker.
Wait a minute.
Wait. Now, I'm gonna tell you.
Wait. See,
let me finish it now.
You're slandering people. You
What?
call so-called. If he's not a Democrat, what is Cory Booker?
It depends on the moment by any means necessary. All politicians go through that. Let me tell you why. But no, I like Cory Booker. But when you see some of these Democrats, like AOC, Acacia, and all those, they fake. They live for the moment. They get some free publicity time and all. But they never come up with meaningful solutions where it's a win-win. And I said that not only qualified immunity, but because of police unions run the criminal justice system. They run it. I don't care what anybody says. They whether it's Hillsborough County or
that's
whatever.
on the local level, though. At
all the way
federal
through.
level,
All the way
well,
through.
I don't think in you go to your congressional district races or your Senate races. I don't know that police unions have a lot of sway.
It's about the money.
At the lower level, they do. I think at the your county, your city, your municipalities. I can see them swaying. They have more influence, and it's easy there because it's easy for them to represent their constituency. On the national level, I thought the biggest deal with influence for the police had been the NRA for years, and that's kind of waned off now.
Well, they got greedy.
Well, but let's go back. Let's go back to the bill, though. So basically, you're saying, listen, the Democrats came in and said we're going to put forth new legislation. We're going to put a new crime bill in that kind of reforms the system and kind of makes it more equal punishment for equal crimes, that kind of thing.
They lied to the people. Here's why. Most of those folks that were supporting criminal justice reform to the extreme, or however you agree to it, they basically lied to the black community and gave us the impression that they had a multi-coalition of supporters. They don't. When are we as black people going to learn that in some cases we're used just as badly by the Democratic Party as we're ignored by the Republican Party?
But politics requires that everybody be exploited.
But
whatever group you're in,
Right.
it's a requirement for politics to work, particularly in a representative style of government. Every group gets exploited because you're told, hey, vote for me and I'll represent
But
your
the
interests.
sincerity the George Floyd and everything else, whether it's in Arizona, the whole bit, the Spanish people, even the white kid that Ben Crump is representing in Arkansas, which was a sad case in itself. I think they indicted the person.
Yeah.
Okay, but this, if you want to call it this Hick family, or
I
real
wouldn't call it.
conservative.
I'm just saying for the record, that's Pete talking, y'all.
Okay, yeah, but I mean,
Referring to
this
the
white family got Ben
Referring
Crump.
to this family
They
as Hicks.
understand that we need criminal justice reform, but it was fake from the beginning. So I just want to say I told you so. Now I know you got some other topics and all.
Well, I mean, I want to make
but
sure
I just wanted to-
I don't know. Let me see.
It won't be back.
We are not done. The crime bill is not done.
It won't be back till they shoot a few more people. And it won't be back until after the 2024 election.
I think
It's
it comes
a dead
back
issue.
24. I think it comes back before the 22.
Who's going to lead it? You don't-
Cory Booker.
He can't do it by himself. Do you look at the court there? See, this coalition that they tried to put together, and you know, Karen Bass says, hey, the Democrat gave in or something. The key to criminal justice reform and dealing with police officers was the qualified immunity. The Supreme Court, the conservative extremist Supreme Court as it is now, gave them an opening to say, hey, you can change up and put in the provisions, our legislative intent,
Correct.
to get rid of qualified immunity. And we couldn't get that across. So
But qualified immunity really comes down to a simple idea. It's about money. That's an easy deal to address. All you have to do is they buy some kind of insurance that the unions provide to the members, and it's an easy thing to fix.
Well, I applaud Tim Scott for looking out for his own neck. But outside of that,
I don't know if you can do that. But South Carolina's changed. I'd be worried if I was in South Carolina if I was him.
brothers, he's not going anywhere. He's like, I looked at my boy Herschel Walker with his latest thing out, okay? He's going to win. It's about them.
Oh, wait, hold on. Don't you can't slide. You try
It's
to
about them.
Okay, we have a very educated. You tried to slide that by. You're saying Herschel Walker's going to win in Georgia?
Absolutely.
Now give us the rationale for that. And this is just for the record.
Well,
Donald Trump recruited Herschel Walker to come back to Georgia, who's never run for office and run for the Senate.
he doesn't have to run for office. All he got to do is fit the script. Herschel is led on a leash. Tim Scott is led on a leash.
But Tim Scott's a seasoned politician.
He's still led on a leash.
Herschel Walker's going to have to get out at some point in time and campaign. He just can't say,
what's happening
I'm
now-
Herschel Walker, everybody, you know
what's
campaign
happening
for me.
now, right? He was going to have some strong opposition in the Georgia
dropped
primary.
out.
They dropped out. He's going to beat the preacher brother, and that's going to happen because if white folks, Warnock, extremist white folks, if they only have a choice between two black candidates, they're going to vote for the one who's less hostile to them and easier to manipulate. I'm just saying.
My head is like spinning and smoke's coming out my ears, Pete.
Well, we'll get you some Hennessy for that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Okay, let me. Okay, all right, I gotta calm down. Woosah. Okay, Pete. Pete. If you look at you look at the demographics of Georgia, you gotta bring the independents and the more moderate Democrats over for him to win.
you assume they're more moderate.
And I think and that's just reflective of what happened with the Stacey Abrams in that election. If they don't pull a Donald Trump and fudge the numbers, she wins.
Yeah.
Right. And then recently, the numbers were not messed with, and you saw two Democrats win.
Herschel by 5 percentage points, folks. 5. See my hand in there?
You sound like you sound like
5%.
Rattler fans last week when they rolled into USF. You know, they were just making up numbers, putting them out there at the tailgate, and then they had to go on the field and actually play the football
don't
game.
worry, USF will take a kicking up there in Mormon country tonight. I guarantee you. That score will be 40 to nothing.
We'll see. All right, so we got things y'all we want to talk about here, and we're happy that you could join.
I just wanted to get that out the way.
You got it out. It's out there now. We come back. I want to talk about how we get all these Haitians down on the border.
Well, they're gone now.
They're going, and how that's going to reflect back on what Biden gets to say to the African American community when these people got treated so different.
He doesn't have to say anything.
So I mean, I think that's going to
It
show
don't
itself.
mean a thing. He's not going to lose votes because he took too late to say something about the Haitians on the board.
Right, actually. Let's take a break. Let me give you the call-in number. You want to call in, the number is 813-444-9588. When we come back, Pete and I are going to unpackage how this thing happened on the board with the Haitians, how they got treated, and what that means for the 2022 election.
Nothing.
We'll be right back.
More votes for the Republicans.
More votes for the Republicans.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Jacobs Production, in partnership with Trinity City of Praise and the African American Family Institute, presents a musical play, 10 Boys and One Girl, coming soon to the David A. Stratz Jr. Center for the Performing Arts, 1010 North Mercedes Place, Tampa, Florida, September the 18th, 2021. 2 p.m. matinee show, 7:30 p.m. late show, $25 general seating, VIP seating $50. You don't want to miss this powerful performance, a story of a man and woman raising 10 boys, one girl, through trial and obstacles. With resilience, faith, and love, they made it. Directed by Nate Jacobs of the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. Musical director Davon Jameson of Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets can be found at the Stratz Center box office. For more information, call 813-229-7827. 10 Boys, One Girl, Family Strong.
I like it, man. That man, he's working now. That's
Victory,
working. Yeah, I like that.
victory is mine. Victory is mine. I just said, hey, look, we couldn't get the barbecue from Asia Wright. Couldn't get a plane ticket up there. Couldn't even get the mileage from Daryl to fly.
But DJ CEO said he got you
we
some donuts.
do have some donuts
Got you some
up there.
donuts.
As
Man,
if-
you eat it, man. I'm
man,
fighting.
I'm trying to lose 5 pounds now.
Don't lose it over here, because I'm trying to shed some.
All right, let me tell you, brothers, when you get old school brothers or OGs or whatever they call us now, and you go to the doctor and they tell you you need to lose 5 or 10 pounds, and you say, wait a minute, you want me to get under 150? I told the doctor the other day, I said, and she thought I was kidding. I said, you want me to? She said, you need to be around 150 for your height and all like that, and some people thought it was racial, but it was more of a joke. I said, do I look like a white person to you?
No,
You know,
you flying. You need to be on a different scale.
OG brothers don't get under 150.
Yeah. Severely obese since about 13.
Well,
Not obese, severely obese.
Well, you know what you do with being severely obese? You know what you do with that? You get up in the morning, get up a little early, you walk some steps and all, change up, get some lemongrass tea or something like that. Yeah. And then you know what else you got to do is you slim down as if you're trying to slim down on the bill payments you got to make. Got to help you get it.
Well,
all right, let's get to this Haitian thing.
And just real quick on
for
that,
victory number 2.
I think that my mic just went down.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah,
there
here we go. So okay, let's back up. First of all, my first question is, how do we get to the Haitian situation? How do we look up and one day there's 15,000 people standing there?
Well, they were coming all the time. I just see a lot of that is optical illusion. And the Haitians, they were there all the time and all. Now you look in the paper and you look on the news and all. They say they all gone from under the bridge. No question, some of them were admitted into the country. A lot of them flown back and all. But the Haitians, the only influence that they will have on the 2022 election, it will benefit the Republican Party, and particularly extremist Republicans that are running. And I tell you why. You look at the image of the Border Patrol has never been a friend of people of color trying to come into this country.
Well, the job is to kind of guard the border.
But that's their job. But the real job from a political standpoint and from a power standpoint is to treat people of color different than, let's say, a Russian was coming into the country through Mexico. That's their real job. If you look at the makeup of Border Patrol agents, their philosophy is the whole bit. It's almost like a white police force. So, number one. Number two, even though Haitians coming into this country generally they vote for conservative Democrats or conservative Republicans, they're not what you call liberal, okay? They just, because of all the political turmoil and stuff that they had. But Haitian voters are not a threat either way.
But even though,
Democrat or
okay, so
Republican
they don't
Party.
have the numbers. But my first thing that got to my mind was, how did so many people get stuck at that point without somebody taking action, unless the goal was to create this crisis in that spot?
It could have been on both ways with that, but you remember now you got a lot of what they call coyotes that get paid to bring.
But let's play this out. I work on this side of the border. When the 500 showed up, what did I do? I can't process them. I seemed like I would have got on the phone and called up to headquarters. Hey, I got 500 people down here. I need help processing them. The next day, 1,000 showed up. Hey, my 500 is now 1,000. I need somebody over here help processing. It seemed like to me the operation, administration of the border, that was intentional to create the optical crisis that it was.
Both ways. And what I mean by that, okay, on the left, political left, it looks like, hey, all these Haitians really need to come into the country now. Now remember, what the black community got to understand is that a lot of the Haitians also were being denied entry into the Dominican Republic. And if you notice one thing about Dominicans, they don't see Haitians equal to them class-wise or educational-wise.
Well, and there's a documentary out about that called Black in Latin America.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, right. And then explain, like, hey, we're Spanish heritage.
Yeah.
You guys have African heritage. But be it as it, so now we've got this situation. I thought it was a setup to make Joe Biden look bad to black people in America. I thought the Border Patrol intentionally created this crisis dealing with dark-skinned people that maybe I'll just speak for me. I don't necessarily have a racial visceral reaction when I see a lot of the activities around the border. I think of it in a more abstract, political
and generally
dynamic.
that's where it is.
But when I saw all those dark-skinned people sitting there, suddenly I said to myself, I felt like somebody needs to do something about this, and whatever they do, it needs to be humane, and it needs to be consistent with what you do with other groups. Now that was I didn't think political or who would help, but I'm just saying that was my my initial reaction. Now, if you stay with that for a point, if you think that, now black folks are watching, hey, what's happening with these people? The second thing that got my attention was this, Pete. These people didn't just leave Haiti.
No, they've been migrating through. They've been migrating
Some of these people, they interviewed people, Pete, they were very fluent in Spanish. They talked about being in all over Central and South America for the last 8-10 years since the initial earthquake. And now, as a result of COVID and the tightening of the economy down there, there was less opportunity. They were drifting and moving, figure, hey, I'm gonna make a move, try to get to America. That's what they came from. So these aren't just people coming from Haiti. Now, think about this, Pete. I've been gone from Haiti for 10 years. I come across the border. They put me on a bus. They take me to the airport, and they fly me back to Haiti. What do I do when I get back to Haiti?
You make the adjustment because obviously if you're in other countries for 10 years, there should have been some opportunity to integrate yourself into the local community.
If the, stop
okay.
right there. Stop right
Society or
there.
something.
Stop right there. And that has been the biggest problem around the world with black people. You're so easily identifiable. You can't blend in. You really can't pass.
Well,
So-
you can't blend in, but not only in white communities, but remember that you can't even blend in with some other people of color.
Just keep your mouth shut. We all look close
right,
enough.
right.
I mean, I may see something on your forehead that gives me, your nose a little wide, whatever it may be, and that fella's there from Ethiopia. I get that, but so they're not going to be allowed to integrate there, and that's why they pack up. But now we got them at the border. Now let's talk about how we dealt with them at the border. The
It
idea
wasn't
was,
nothing unexpected. Did you really think they were going to treat them right at the border?
I expect them to treat them like they treat them.
No, they treated them exactly the way. Look, when you see law enforcement agencies that have an extreme right-wing bent to it, they use issues like with the Haitians, other dark people of color. They use that as like a training fodder, a folder.
Man, boy, that's cynical, Pete.
I'm just saying it, but it's for real. And understand this, folks, on Facebook in particular. And you can call in. What's this number? 444-9588, 444-9588.
813-444-958. Could y'all call Pete?
All right, listen.
Talk to Pete, man.
All right,
and it's at the bottom of the screen. If you're on Facebook, it's across the bottom. Our engineer has put the call number across the bottom. For the last 3 weeks, we've been telling us to tell y'all the number is actually on the screen on Facebook.
You notice about it, and I want to see what the producers our reaction to this. Outside of the political pimps within the black political structure.
Why the pimp?
And wait a
only
minute,
black?
and law.
You telling me Trump wasn't a pimp? He was the ultimate pimp.
I said,
and he brought his women to the show. I mean, what are you talking about?
I'm
man?
saying within the black community.
There you go. Somebody gonna tell you about
But let me
this.
finish this. If we get our call in, you notice even in the black community, outside of the political rah-rah political pimps, and outside of South Miami, did you see any big movements in any other cities or whatever the case outside of Florida, maybe a little bit in the Tampa Bay area, that everybody fell over their face and say, let's rally to the Haitians?
No. Well, that's another
It wasn't going to happen. All right, caller, come on in on In Touch News and Radio. And look, I just got, and you know, I learned how to print in English and all, working in the black newspaper. So In Touch News is out. And Daryl looks like he got a younger picture on him.
Tammy looking pretty young herself,
well,
too.
I got to look out for the brothers first. I'm just saying. All right, caller, come in, caller. What do you say?
Good morning. Good morning, good attorney and Mr. Edwards. I think, when the refugees came in or whatever, but we just have this, it's just being too politicized. I mean, our political, I mean, it's just way off board here. Everything is so political that it's just really outrageous. You got your Republicans fighting with the Democrats and Democrats fighting with the Republicans. It's just number two to make each other look bad. So I think someone needs to dissect this thing and bring it back to the middle and make it exactly what it is. It's some people that's been persecuted and ran from their country and they need help.
Let me ask you, Carl, real quick. Let me ask you a question, though. And I'm making an assumption that you're African American. The way you rolling your tongue, fine Southern gentleman like you. But listen, am I correct? I figured as much. So anyway, listen. Did you have an emotional and physical, psychological reaction to seeing all those black people under the bridge? Did it bother you?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And this was no different when they had the Cubans. When they had the Cubans.
Okay, hold on. Stay there. So when you saw the situation in Cuba, did you get upset?
Well, yes, because you still had refugees. You still had people that were.
All right, okay, stay right there for a minute. So when you saw the situation in Afghanistan, did you get upset?
Well, no, Afghanistan, those people were being rescued. They were being replaced. Now you got people were killed with Haitians. These guys been trying to get in the United States for years.
So you don't let me. And if I'm right, make sure I'm correct. And I'm gonna let P ask you a question. I apologize for interrogating you in this manner, but I know that you're a Biden guy. Do you think this whole thing with the Haitians on the border made Biden look bad to black people?
Well, if you're a Republican, yes, it did. If you're a Republican.
Well, I'm a Democrat, and I thought he looked like crap. I thought he was a bad management, and it made me feel like, gee, is this guy up to the job of being president? I'm gonna let Pete jump in.
You're right. Look, before we go to break, I got a few words to say on this, just short words. You know what? In the 2022 election, this will help moderate Democrats who are really conservative Republicans under the new way of things. You know why it's going to help them? Not because they're all of them under the bridge and all, but how they expeditiously got rid of. Say no more. That speaks for itself.
Got rid of them. Oh, that's harsh.
See, because to me, I think with the people coming through the border before now under the Trump administration and the Haitians and all, you know who we really need to feel empathy for is the way they use children.
And that's everybody.
That's everybody. That's everybody, including the Afghanistans, because if it was left up to me, I wouldn't let the Afghanistans, some of them have come in already, attempted a rape and some other stuff. The children, one thing, but what we're opening ourselves up to more stuff within the country now. These Afghanistans, and I remind the black community, time they come across to America, they're going to consider you less than them. I just leave it at that for
All right. Well, Carl, thank you for calling, man. We appreciate you listening in. And I'm gonna fight, Pete. I can't even.
Man, I'm happy. I'm winning everything today.
Okay. All right, Pete. So this thing about letting them in. There are international laws that we have joined in on regarding refugees and people seeking asylum in your country. If they get to the border, we gotta let them in.
Depends on how darker the skin is.
Oh, Lord. Okay,
I'm just saying.
You sound like a Democrat, Mr. Republican. We're going to take this quick break.
I'm just winning everything this morning.
I know you
I
are.
wonder what kind of donuts he got. You think he got any jelly filled or whatever?
We'll be right back. In Touch News Radio, Reality Radio.
We'll be right back. Remember, donuts are like your mind. You can have a hole in it in your thoughts sometimes. So I got that. I did that before Anna gave her thought. All right, but we'll be right back.
Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, Mom, you're the strongest person that I know. Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
This is Kevin from Steppin' with a Vision, where I teach the smooth art of Chicago-style stepping. Join me on September 24th and September 25th as I celebrate 40 years of recovery, and I celebrate my 67th birthday. Yes, 2 nights of dancing and dinner. Workshops on Saturday the 25th if you want to learn to dance at 3315 Lemon Street in Tampa, 912 East Fletcher on Saturday. See you there.
On a victory Saturday morning with yours truly, Pete Edwards, I've chalked up 2 victories against this formidable lawyer and my co-host Clint Perry. I'm showing you the new edition of In Touch Radio News there. Now, it is blocking this handsome face of mine that everybody call me Sweet Pete, but sometimes you got to put yourself aside for the best interests of the community, and the best interest of the community is the In Touch Radio newspaper. I always love dear Tammy.
Yeah.
And she could be tough on everybody. And
she just keeps it real.
So she keeps it real. I wanted to write in something, but we got a call. Good morning, caller, on a beautiful Saturday morning, and you're up mighty early. I'm sure you done cook breakfast and all that kind of stuff. What say you? Caller, go ahead. Turn your phone down. I mean, they have it on phone. I can't hear you.
Go ahead, caller.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Pete, first of all, we're going to check your West Tampa card because we got problems. It's amazing to me how when Donald Trump was in office, they didn't show the dark-colored people, the Haitians, when they were talking about building a wall. But now that Biden's in, they show a whole million-man march of dark people trying to cross the border, and we have, but we as black people must do better. I'm trying to collect clothes and sending to Haiti, and I'm not seeing anybody else. I'm not seeing our dark brothers and sisters trying to help each other. Again, Mr. Pete, this is Gavin. I need you to know we need to meet and maybe play some dominoes or some spades to remind you from whence you come.
I went through that yesterday.
You've been working hard a long time, and I respected you for a long time, and I still respect you because you're a man of your word, a man of integrity. But some things come out of your mouth. I just, I'm like, is this the Pete I know? Maybe.
No, you're right. I like that. You're right, because what I try to look at, and I tell my partner Clint all the time off the air, I look at things in a dissectional way. And what I mean by that, I look at it how I see it. I look at the quiet side of ill feelings within our community, and then I try to look at a point of view that's what's going to be in the best interest of the community moving forward with our young brothers and sisters. I've always taken that approach. And the thing, like I said, the thing with the Haitian issue, it's always been a policy. If you look at the numbers of people that they bring into the country under this visa, one thing, all the smart people they claim smart and all, they don't bring a lot of people of color there. There are some things that Trump, Obama, Bush, and now Biden make them all political brothers. That's just the way it is. But I can tell you this, when I went out and asked people this week what they thought, our people, including West Tampa, I didn't see Georgia Boy when I came through, but I stopped and asked a couple of OGs about the Haitians coming over here. The first thing I heard out of the brothers' mouth, they coming over here, they just as black as we are. They don't even speak to us. They think they're better than us. And they lower the minimum wage because they'll work at a cheaper price. Okay? I'm just saying.
That's a trifling, downtrodden, hateful mindset of some people that just don't understand a lot, functionality of the world. There's a humanity part. These people are not, in theory, coming over here. if you think about the idea of their escaping oppression, if you think about it in those terms, you're a lot more compassionate to the.
Okay. Well, let me ask my caller friend one more question because we got another.
He cutting into you, Pete. He took a whole chunk out.
Well, but that's what we
I
doing.
think you down to that one
No,
thing
that's
they
the
want
way
you to
we
get
do
to.
in West Tampa. We cut into each other like that, but we love each other. I caught that.
Pete, I'm from 2321 Spruce Street. You can't tell me about West Tampa.
Well, 2321 was the suburbs. You got to come out of the North Boulevard homes from. He know my calling.
I used to visit.
I'm looking, and he's looking more like a Puerto Rican than anything.
Yeah, get out of here.
All right, but you know what though? I was at the Blake homecoming game last night.
There you go.
And then some people did tell me, say, hey man, you done got a little bit more conservative, but some things you're more liberal on. But that's how you see. We never should stop educating ourselves as to what's going around. So you went like you did this morning. I'm not mad about that because when you slamming dominoes, you get the same conversation.
Hold on. So I want the caller to tell. What
we're gonna get with the other caller
in
in a minute.
What should have happened with those
Keep on
Haitians
doing
under the bridge? To the caller, what should have happened?
What should happen?
What should have happened? Because they're gone now. Most of them are gone. But what should America have done?
We should have, and we probably did under the table, around the corner. But when we have a plan, we should show America the plan and include everybody in the plan. We just, as America, we do everything under the table. We do everything the wrong way. We do everything to benefit ourselves and not others.
Got it. Well, thank you, caller, for calling. We appreciate it very much, and I also appreciate you helping get Pete's weight down. This donut, you took a little chunk out of his butt. That's good. Do we have another caller? Okay.
All right. But he's right though. But see, to me, Clint, is whether I'm out there on the blocks with the guys on Howard and Maine or Albany and Maine or whatever, and you're out in your area, you see the boys. That's why the community gets stronger when you have healthy conversations
and differences and tolerance of differences.
But at the end of the day, we all realize that we're black. We all realize that there's still a certain degree of oppression. The key to me is how do we stop being oppressed within our own color dynamics?
But there are things, okay, you're right about that. And there are things that happen, I think, to manipulate that. Mm-hmm. And when I saw the situation on the border, the first thought was, how did so many people get there without anybody knowing? Okay? They all got off the same bus, at the same train, at the same time. How did that happen? One, that's not an accident. That larger group in that kind of a squalor and situation, in this day and age, you got COVID, you got all kind of stuff. There's no reason that we would not have been able to, when it got to 2,000, ramp up and process unless it was intended to create the crisis, to create the visual effect that it did, to put the administration in a bad situation, that where it leaves people thinking now, because now where everybody's thinking not just, well, with the people on the board, now they're thinking, well, where did they go? What'd you do with them? Which ones did you send back? Which ones did y'all release? No matter what the answer is, it makes the Biden administration look bad and strengthen Republicans for the 22 election.
Well, we didn't need to strengthen it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Watch me now, because you all Republicans are counting on the black Democratic voter electorate to not show up.
They won't.
And because of things like this, they won't show up.
No, that's a smoke screen. Listen, the Haitian border crisis is part of a three-pronged test of reality. You ready for this?
Okay.
Got this from a young jet, and I appreciate him teaching me because I tell young people all the time.
And you young, you mean like 60, 65?
No, I'm talking about a jet in his 30s.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He talks about a three-pronged test that make black men stronger or weaker, and this applies to the border issue. Illusions, illusions, and delusions. That's it. And so, when you look at if you go into even if you go in the Urban Dictionary, and look up, and I urge people to the meaning of those. That's it. Illusions, delusion, illusion. So we're going to be coming out of this break in a minute, and I'm gonna see if he's got a spicy donut. He forgot.
And you say DJ Darryl Johnson.
But he didn't get any
DJ
cake donut.
CEO was nice enough to stop by Dunkin' Donuts and bring some donuts in.
I'm happy for him, but
man, I'm happy
can
too,
I tell you a
man.
joke
Yeah,
before we
look
go
at
on
that.
break about donuts? When a brother is single
I don't know nothing about
and
that.
struggling,
Can't talk about
he
it.
needs a cake donut because that's the only sweetness he's gonna get. That's just a Saturday morning joke. I want to say it like that. Hey, Facebook folks, look, once again, the paper, and I want you to read some of the articles and support our advertising there. But dear Tammy has an interesting article that you gotta read online or something that talks about how we deal with friendships and revealing COVID.
All right.
I want you to read that. All right, so we're going to go on break. You see my new Blake, I said wet, dry, but it's stay fit. Dry fit.
Stay fit.
Hey, y'all get it, though, right? Look at the Blake Yellow Jacket thing on there. All right, that's good enough. We'll be right back on a break.
Hey, man, last week.
See you nodding your head and tapping your feet. In Touch Radio will be right back.
Y'all be playing some of the best music I ever heard.
With more of your OMG jams, we're In Touch Radio.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and during the week, I'm affectionately known as the Medicare lady. Do not try to navigate Medicare without me. Please call me at 813-476-4837. I also do life insurance, and I will help people who are Medicare, Medicaid. Once again, 813-476-4837. 4837.
Catch my show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cuso. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Catch my show.
So if y'all were watching welcome back to Texas News Radio, reality radio, everybody can be a star. This is straight up the middle. You were watching the previous section, you saw Pete talk about how he had to get his weight down and he ate a jelly donut. We're back for the next section, and now he has a glazed donut. Pete, I don't know how much.
Look, man, it's Saturday morning, but that's why we call it reality radio.
It is
If
reality.
you remember when you asked me to step in for my fellow Republican brother,
Yes.
and it's my esteemed critic that just called in, I keep it real. Because at the end of the day, and you wake up the next day, you have an opportunity for redemption, and you have an opportunity to help somebody along the way.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity to recognize that you learned something that should make you a better person than a worse person, and it keeps you grounded. And when you don't go through all that, then that's the thing. I started off with a victory this morning with Tim Scott, fellow Republican, but he's a sellout. So what do you want me to say?
You're right. And another thing, Pete, that I think I've been remiss in the last couple of weeks of not really saying as much as we need. Media is the essence. It's almost like the circulation system of a community because it shares information. And I know we're in a day and age now where we have so many ways to be informed, to be up to date. But we are really blessed in our local Tampa community and a lot of local communities with local papers and local media outlets that provide information. We have In Touch News locally in Tampa, and then we're, of course, on the airwaves.
And that's why we have it, because whether we like it or not, it's just like you being a big-time officer in church, in the black church. And I remember I grew up at historic St. Paul, the civil rights church, okay? I was at 30, and then the OGs told me that I have not paid my dues yet. I didn't like that at all. I said, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Had you paid your dues?
I had to start learning to do that from day one in St. Paul. You feel me? So one thing seriously about In Touch, you see, this paper, and if you go look at the shows and listen to the shows, they have something for everybody. The question is, will our community get off their butt and buy in more, because whether we like it or not, there's always a transitional period. And as I get more into a senior philosophical state of mind,
Okay.
I can still take input from young people who see where they may be, but at the present time, they need to be where they want to be with a little touch of influence from me. You feel me on that?
But you don't want to anchor. I'll tell you this, because I've got young kids that are still that are still growing and developing. I'm trying not to anchor them down too much in my life experience or the world that I actually dealt with and lived through 20, 30 years ago. I'd be real careful about that, putting across to them. One of them is in the political realm. I don't think the definitions of political parties is going to be, it's so fluid now.
You see it. I'm at the game last night. It was interesting. I see the little kids, and I was telling Principal Jesse Salters this. It was funny behind the Blake Holmes.
And he's a principal at Blake.
And he was a heck of a basketball player.
USF. He went to school.
And in high school too. So I told Principal Salters, I said, you know what? The kids behind the home side and the little courtyard area, they're out there playing football and that kind of stuff. They had a couple of footballs and all.
Right.
It looked like a rainbow of kids. Different colors, size, shapes, the whole bit. They even had a couple of girls there. And then later on, I see a lot of the kids that look like pantomimes or animines or whatever they call them on Facebook now, with all these crazy earrings and makeup and stuff like that. Black, white, Hispanic, the whole bit. Then I go down further and I see a lot of the kids that obviously they only got them a little herb before they came into the game, and they all got the same eye look, And I'm saying, I moved down to the side where I think the OGs are, and sure enough, we were there and everything. But when I looked at the whole stadium, even the Robinson side, I'm looking at different pieces working together, the transformation of power, so to speak, and influence and all. Yet the respectability was there, and what really woke me up to a clamp, and I know we're off subject a little bit. I'm going because I got bad knees, so I took the walker out to the game, and they had this young brother just almost ran me over, and before I can admonish him, his friend said, "Hey man, you trying to run over the OG like that? You can't do that." So instead of me admonishing the young kid that did it, even though he was probably about 80 pounds heavier than I am, you know what I did? I thanked the brother who recognized it. Because I said, that's a transition. He's in this group that's trying to be hip and all like that, and with the girls and all, but he recognized a sense of respect for those who have paved the way for him or ahead of him. And I thanked him. He said, "Don't worry about it, Pop, I got you."
Well,
and that's I was happy the rest of the day.
Of those, sometimes you go to Blake or Middleton or some of the other schools that are predominantly African American. It gets a little rough out there.
Yeah,
you gotta leave a little
and
early.
I look at it.
You
I
can't wait till the end of the game.
I asked a couple of kids, even that hang with my grandson now. I said, "Well, how's it in a school setting? You got these set of kids. You recognize you got the kids of color from different countries." But they might be members of service that kind of stuff. They hang together. You got the brothers and sisters that hang in the Magnus program.
Yes.
You got the brothers and sisters. So it's a crazy thing. And so, but I ask adults the same thing, and we see the melting pot, and you see it through In Touch News and radio and the whole bit.
Right.
But when you ask them about a issue like the Haitian crisis, they don't see that as an issue. They're wondering why we're talking about that when we should be talking about scholarship when the football team gonna win. One kid told me, said, "Well, you asking me about that, sir?" I said, "But hey, when we gonna get some more tutors?"
That's normal though. There's
so they don't care about that.
Right, but there's a process to
go ahead on and talk while I have my donut.
Go ahead on. There's a process though, Pete, to people's what I call personal consciousness, and it starts really selfishly, and slowly it expands. The first thing people are concerned about is, do I have enough to eat? And after they've eaten, then they start thinking about, well, who else might be hungry? And their mind starts to allow them to share, to think about other folks, to plan. So I'm not surprised that young people's minds are more focused on the things that directly, specifically in this moment impact them.
Well, you know what? Let me challenge our audience, and that number
You
is...
got like 2 minutes.
All right, for discussion in the future, how much of an effort, who should provide the best effort to cooperate and strengthen? Should we in America, American blacks, make more of an effort to get along and help the Haitians out? Or should it be more of an effort from them not to be scared and reach out to us to help teach us some of their culture so we won't be fearful that they're going to take our job?
Pete,
now,
I can knock that out the water right now.
You sure?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
There has been a plantation mentality developed with African Americans such that we're so quick asking for handouts from other people, we ain't got time to think about helping somebody else. So we're in America steadily fighting for what we're rightfully entitled to, that somebody should get, as opposed to taking a mindset of we're going to take what's rightfully ours, we're going to develop our own stuff, and then once you do that, you have enough control and power, you can think about how to reach out to other interests. But the one thing that permeates all of this, it's money. You make it profitable for black people to be engaged in what's happening in Haiti. You make it profitable for the Haitians to be engaged with African Americans. That will slide all that through. But if you leave it to where people are looking for handouts and we wait for somebody to help us and then who should we help them, you're stuck because now you just got people unable to develop a structure.
And remember, you said it's money. So I want to remind our audience as we leave today. There's a distinct difference between money and this fake business of bitcoins. Keep that in mind.
Whoa.
Keep that in mind.
Look at. Tell me I should have gold bullions in my closet.
Look. Now, for all my West Tampa friends and my constructive critic from West Tampa.
Hey, listen,
we're gonna get our tin cans and stuff some of our money in quarters and all.
All right, Pete, go give us a closing comment.
All right,
Pete. Go ahead, man. Get us out.
We want the local. Here's this thing. We want everybody to think about this new words, this new dog whistle from the extreme right of the Republican Party. What's the new dog whistle now? The rule of law. Governor DeSantis comes out with a headline and says, hey, I'm appointing all these judges, including 4 in Hillsborough County. Not one black again. Not one. And he says, these are judges, and the headline says rule of law. You know what that's a dog whistle for? Anything that helps consumers, black people, that kind of stuff, it ain't going to happen. Even if the law says that this is the right thing to do, the new judges coming in have a commitment. Whether they tell you this or not, they have a commitment to minimize that effect. So we're going to have a discussion on the rule of law.
Bitcoin and the rule of law.
Bitcoins is through. Bitcoins remind me of when you pay 5 light bills and you can't even get a phone call. I'll leave it at that.
Bitcoin,
I know Tammy's going to get on me about that, but don't buy Bitcoin. So as we leave today, please, Clint, one other thing. They put a new light on MLK and 26 for the library in Lomax School. Women, mothers taking their kids to school. Why you got the babies behind the steering wheel and speeding through the lights? It doesn't make sense. The po-po pop you, then you're going to say he's racist and all like that, but the baby is there. Just take your time, put the baby in the proper seating, slow down between young middle school and going to Potter. It'll be all right. Whatever you got to do with your nails, your hair, or check on your traps or go to work or whatever, it's there. Yeah, I'm like Tammy, but I just got a different spin. And for our audience, we're going to take one more donut on your behalf after we get off the air.
I want to thank DJ CEO for that.
Who gave us that?
Daryl brought him. Daryl Johnson.
That's all we got?
That's all we got.
I need some gas right there, I'll tell you right now. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Enjoy your donut. Well, enjoy mine. That's what I'm at.
Birdsong with Tampa Bay politics. And not only can you catch us